Guys, welcome to a classic war movie review of 1969's Play Dirty, starring Michael Caine, Nigel Davenport and Harry Andrews. Now, this was the final film directed by cinematic legend André De Toth, and it's set during the North African campaign in the Second World War, and is the story of a special raiding unit composed of convicted criminals who mount a dangerous last chance mission to destroy an Africa Corps fuel depot. And thrown into the mix is Michael Caine's regular officer who must go along due to his special knowledge of oil pipelines and infrastructure. So far, so dirty, doesn't you may say, or any of the many men on a mission war movies from the 1960s. But this is a much more cynical beast, a movie that delves into the murky waters of betrayal, mistrust, and survival at any cost. Let's take a look. So released in 1969, Play Dirty is a movie in that bracket of gripping and quite unconventional World War II films that stepped in after the more traditional heroic war movies of the 50s. Now, this was set in the harsh deserts of North Africa during World War II and follows the story of Captain Douglas, played by Michael Caine, a British oil company executive turned reluctant soldier who is assigned to lead a ragtag group of mercenaries on a seemingly straightforward mission to destroy a German fuel depot far behind enemy lines. However, of course, the mission quickly spirals into chaos, revealing the true nature of war and the depths of human selfishness.
Two men are going to stop Rommel. One of them is Adolf Hitler, who cannot give him enough fuel. The other is me.
I shall put the expedition under the command of a British officer.
But British officers don't understand my methods, sir.
Do as I say, and this time I want him back, alive.
Now, I am a big fan of these kinds of war movies. I've mentioned before on this channel films like Where Eagles Dare and others such as Station 6 Sahara, where the fact that there's a war going on is almost secondary to the examination of men under pressure. And the guys in this movie would like to win the war for sure, but they're also deeply flawed individuals driven by greed, self-preservation and personal agendas.
I wouldn't be here now if I wasn't worth £2,000 to you, would I? Probably not.
Now, this is one of the Michael Caine movies and roles that doesn't get too much of a mention, I don't feel. His Captain Douglas here is an anti-hero. He's initially portrayed as an inexperienced officer, but as he begins to navigate the treacherous dynamics of his team, which includes the cynical and ruthless Captain Cyril Leach, played by Nigel Davenport. Leach's character is the yin here to Douglas's yang. He's experienced in the harsh realities of war where moral codes flexible, if not simply discarded. Now, their uneasy alliance forms the centre point of the story. Two men with conflicting ideologies trying to survive the war and the desert as well, and all the tension that provides.
How many are you taking? Oh, 7, that's enough. One more would get in the way. 7's my lucky number.
8 is what you've got, and I believe I'm in command.
Is our friend serious?
Now, it's only on the surface that Play Dirty is a typical men-on-a-mission action flick. The first twist in the tale comes as the top brass here, represented by Harry Andrews as Brigadier Bloor and Nigel Green as Colonel Masters, has sent a regular army raiding party as a fallback option 2 days behind Caine and Co, but their mission is ill-fated. And the other comes in the form of the team itself, comprised of the Tunisian Sadok, who's the demolition expert. Every team needs one of those. We've got a Greek smuggler, Kostas, he's the armourer. Budesh, the communications guy. The Cypriot, Kafkarides, he deals with transport and supplies. And the Arab guides, Hassan and Asin, who are actually a gay couple, I think, which is quite an odd thing for a movie of the time, and certainly for a mainstream war movie.
Hassan and Hassin, Snoozy Arab guides.
Are they always so friendly?
All they ask is keeping each other.
Michael Caine's performance as Douglas here, a portrayal of a man out of his depth yet determined to see the mission through, is one of my favourites of his. He has to transform from reluctant participant to hardened survivor, having to butt heads with Davenport's Leach, the two actors initially bringing a palpable sense of animosity that does turn into a reluctant respect for one another as the plot plays out. I'm a big Nigel Davenport fan also, and his performance as Leach here has his usual rugged charisma, the kind that makes his morally dodgy character strangely likeable. Now, Leach has a kind of approach to war which sums up the theme of the whole movie, really, that in the chaos of war, all those traditional notions of right and wrong don't really do you any good and often go straight out the window.
Are you out of your mind? If anybody's going to get killed here, I give the order. Is that clear?
Somebody gave the show away.
Who? You did.
So, Play Dirty was directed by Hungarian filmmaker André De Toth, who directed some outstanding westerns during the 1950s, such as Day of the Outlaw and The Indian Fighter. Here he brings the same grim atmosphere that he brought to his western and film noir movies. And here the visuals, unpolished and raw, aided by cinematography from Edward Scaife. We get a desert captured in wide shots that highlight the vastness and emptiness of the landscape, alongside sandstorms, booby traps, and just all-out chaos. Now, released in the January of 1969, Play Dirty received mixed reviews, with only a few praising its departure from traditional war movie conventions, but mostly people were put off by its bleak tone. Of course, in the 50 plus years since, it's gained a good cult following, and I'm not even sure if I actually prefer this to The Dirty Dozen in the pantheon of expendable no-gooders sent on suicide missions. Of course, its influence can be seen in movies like Kelly's Heroes from 1970 and even Three Kings from 1999, which also feature anti-heroes and unconventional missions and murky morals. Here, when Caine's character captures a German ambulance, they discover they've also picked up a German nurse who is forced to tend to one of their injured men, and almost some other much more unsavoury things. Now, some late plot developments and a red herring or two thrown into the mix, along with one of the era's most cynical endings that I won't spoil here, but it's safe to say that Play Dirty explores themes of betrayal by both the enemy and from the gang's own side. The British higher-ups who orchestrate the mission here are depicted as manipulative, treating the team like expendable pawns, beginning with Douglas's crew as a diversion for a regular army unit. Now, the disconnect between those who plan wars and those who fight them isn't a new thing and has existed as long as war has. Now, if you are seeking a traditional war movie experience, then there's more than enough entries in the genre to placate you. Here, though, there's no room for jigonistic flag waving or walking off into the sunset. There's not even a clear line between hero and villain. Now, this is the love child of The Dirty Dozen and Ice Cold and Alex. Play Dirty may not be able to claim out-and-out originality, but can stand proudly alongside those movies in terms of wartime shenanigans and explosive fun. Go check it out.
Well, this mission's over. Now we can go home.
I'm in command here.